Hey guys, since the latest RuneScape EOC updates and buffs, and pretty much since the launch of the evolution of combat, the way defense is calculated and what armor is good to use in different situations has changed dramatically, and simply put, it is all a lot more complicated now. In this video, I will aim to explain why Type All armor shouldn't be overlooked and what armor type means in general. I made this video so that I can provide some reasoning for items I will have bought for episode 7 of PVM Pro. That's also why this is being uploaded before that episode. It took me a while for me to work out how I could best explain this, so I do apologize if I've made a mistake on anything, but I think it should be fairly accurate. To start off with, armor type is basically just a description of what the armor is best used for. If you hover your mouse over any piece of equipment, it will tell you what type it is. So if I were to hover my mouse over my ganodermic poncho, it would say type magic, meaning it is an item that is best used when using magic based attacks. And if you check out its stats, they will also correspond to the RuneScape combat triangle for a piece of magic armor, which would be high melee defense, okay magic defense, and then a low range defense. The same occurs for the respective ranged and melee armor types. The armor type Type All is different. Type All means armor is best used in multi-attack style combat situations, where the player requires a balanced defense against magic, ranged, and melee. An example of this would be Bandos, Saradomin, Zamorak, Armadale, or Next God Wars dungeon, where you have one boss that attacks with at least 2 different combat styles, as well as each of its minions that use one of the 3 different combat styles as well. The main point I wanted to bring across in this video was to not overlook armor Type All equipment. On screen, you'll be able to see an image of a player in full Armadale with barrage gloves and dragon rider boots, as well as a player in the same gear except with swift gloves and Glavian boots. You will notice that despite the large gap in prices and requirements between the 2 items compared here, the stats are not too significantly different. The Glavian boots and swift gloves setup has a higher magic defense as you would first imagine, but the barrage gloves and dragon rider boots setup makes up for that in high melee defense and 1 less range defense. Now you might be thinking, hey, the Glavian boots and swift gloves still rate pretty well, and they do actually have a better defensive bonus besides for melee than the dragon rider boots and barrage gloves, and that is true. However, it is significantly easier to obtain barrage gloves than swift gloves and dragon rider boots than Glavian boots, not to mention the easier requirements to wield them. The other important thing to note throughout all of that is that the higher the overall armor rating you have, the higher the defense offered by the boots and the gloves. In the comparison images, you will notice the armor worn is Armadale, which is only level 70 armor, but if it were swapped out for Pernix or any of the next armor sets or pieces, as well as player owned ports armor, the defensive bonuses offered by the gloves and boots would be much higher, as you can see in the images shown now, due to increased armor rating. This means that largely underrated gear, such as dragon rider boots and barrage gloves, is a lot more useful than first thought, and Type All armor can actually be very useful in multi-attack style combat situations, all depending on what armor you use with it. Hopefully this video made some sense to you all. It's hard to explain, but hopefully the examples given have helped to improve your understanding and will benefit you in your future choices for what gear to take to various bosses or to use in other aspects of RuneScape combat. Huge thanks go to Colin or RSN Ladinchuk for his help in this. He explained the concept to me and provided me with the comparison images, so this video wouldn't have been possible without his help. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next video.